So today, you and I are going to look at the age-old interview opener, tell me about yourself. It's a question that people tend to use to break the ice, etc., to start an interview, to get you relaxed. Now, the funny thing is, it's a question that's probably been used for 100 years, but we're going to work together as a team to make sure that you're going to use this question as the foundation to build out a very, very good interview. Now, let me give you a little bit of guidance here. This is something that I'm going to tell you that I don't feel particularly proud about. I'm not trying to be a clever so-and-so. I have been a headhunter for 30 years. I've placed thousands of people in roles. I've helped thousands more with career advice. And the point I would make is this: traditional career interview advice is wrong. It's plain and simple, it's wrong, because these careers advisors get you to prepare for interviews where you're going there cap in hand, second-rate citizen, you're lucky to be in the room. They're going to ask you 20 questions, you're going to duck and dive for cover, you're going to try and answer them as well as possible, and then at the end, if you're lucky, they'll let you ask a couple of questions. Now, that's not the way you and I are going to go about our business, right? I'm going to coach you that the best way to go for an interview is to treat it as a business discussion. You're there as an equal, and you're going to take control of the interview. And it all starts by providing a very, very good answer to the question. So tell me about yourself. Okay? Now, two stories that have happened in our business in the last month. One's good, one's bad. Let's start with a negative one first, but there is a silver lining on that at the end of the video I'll tell you about. So I sent a gentleman in Australia for a very senior Asia Pacific sales leadership role. And he went to talk to a gentleman who I've known for many years, Darren. It's a big IT infrastructure company. And I phoned Darren after the interview and I said, "How did you go with Steve?" I genuinely thought the gentleman would go very well. He said, "Johnny," he said, "I was so excited to meet this guy." He said, "He had a great resume. He looked great on paper." I asked him, "Tell me about yourself." He said, "He bored me to death." He said he started talking about when he was 6. He said 2 or 3 minutes in, the guy had lost me. He said for the rest of the interview, he couldn't be precise, etc. He said it was a big disappointment. He said, but I knew within 30 to 60 seconds that he wasn't the right guy for us. Okay, so let's just park that. He knew within 30 to 60 seconds that the guy wasn't the right guy for them. Okay, then we'll do more of a positive story. I had a wonderful young man, Dinesh, up in Singapore, going for an account executive role in financial services with a NASDAQ listed software vendor. Okay, now, when he went for that interview, the lady phoned me up literally 10 minutes after he left the office. Now, let me give you a bit of guidance as a headhunter, funny enough, for executive recruiter. When a client phones me immediately after an interview, it's either really good or really bad. So when you do get the call, you're a little bit nervous thinking, geez, I wonder how this went. Now, the lady phoned me up, Aisha, she said, "Listen, John," she said, "I can't believe how well that young man went in his interview." She said, when he turned up, he was so well prepared. He filled the room with energy. She said, "I asked him to tell me about yourself." She said, "He answered it so well, I warmed to him straight away." Okay? Let's just listen to that again. The lady said, "I warmed to him straight away." Okay? You'll get all sorts of research. People will tell you that most interviewers make up their mind within 30, 60 seconds, 2, 3 minutes, etc. Now, I don't know the exact statistics, but what I would say to you over the years is that I think that's actually true. And when somebody makes a decision early on, what they're looking for is positive confirmation, either in a positive sense or a negative sense, to reinforce the decision, if you like, that they've already made. If they like somebody, they're looking to see if they continue to say the right things in the interview, etc. If they've made a decision that the guy or lady's not for them, the chances are that they're trying to reiterate that during the interview process, okay? So that's very important for us when we're trying to build out an answer, when we're preparing for this question, okay? Now, when you go for an interview and the client says, "So tell me about yourself." This is going to sound Irish, but it's not about you. It's actually about them, okay? So when you go for a client interview, the client has got 4 things on his or her mind that they have to make a decision on. Number 1, can this gentleman or lady do the job? Number 2, will this gentleman or lady get on well with our team? Number 3, can I work with this person? And number 4, do I actually like this person? Now, this is very important. Again, it's a bit old-fashioned for me to say this to you, but people like to work with people they like. And many times have you sat in lunches or sitting talking to people and they might have said, oh, I interviewed so-and-so today. He could obviously do the job, but I just didn't warm to him. He wasn't my cup of tea. He came across as being all about himself. He came across as being a bit arrogant, etc., etc. Now, I'm not saying that's a he only. That can be a she thing as well. But we just have to be aware that these things can happen, and we have to get out of the blocks and make sure that we produce a very good answer for tell me about yourself that shows the lady or the gentleman or the people there on the other side of the table that you're a nice person and you're very keen to talk to them further. And most importantly, you've done your preparation, okay? Now, let's look at that once again, because preparation is the key. So, when you go for an interview, you're looking at the person or people at the other side of the table, and they're the most important people or person in your life for that 1 hour. So you literally need to know what they had for breakfast, okay? The better prepared you are, the better you're going to perform in an interview, okay? So, let's just look at this both personally and professionally. Personally, am I well organized? Am I there on time? Am I presenting myself well? Do I smell nice? Have I had a nice clean shower? I'm going to do an interview on this, funny enough, or a video session on. You'd be amazed the amount of people that don't do the basics. So we're all prepared. We're ready to go. We're turning up. That's our personal preparation. Professional preparation. It's twofold. You're looking at the person or people that you're being interviewed by, and you're also looking at the company, okay? Let's take the company first. Annual report, anything on the website, new product releases, new news bulletins, etc., etc., any new partnerships they developed, any new case studies, etc. Everything's relevant. Then you're looking at the person who's interviewing you, okay? Or people. What's on their LinkedIn profile? What's on their work history? Have we any common connections? Have they put any new features, any new articles on LinkedIn themselves in the last couple of weeks or month that they're proud about that you can talk about? Once again, a little tip. When you go for an interview, it's all about creating those little sound bites. It's all about creating this connection, okay? Now, what I always do myself, and I've been a little bit crafty here, but I'm going to teach you to be streetwise. I always go and look at the person's profile, look to see who I'm connected to, look to see who they know that I know. Then I go down to the bottom section and look at the who do they follow? What groups are they in? You might find that the guy lady is a footballer, a basketballer, a netballer. They might follow somebody that you follow. It's all about finding these little common sound bites that you can bring into that interview process when you're starting to take control of it. After the answer, tell me about yourself, when you start asking questions and creating that common ground, okay? Tell me about yourself. So tell me about yourself. 3 main ways that we're going to answer this question, and we're going to do it over 2 minutes, okay? The first way we're going to answer it is we're going to use some professional content to start with, and it's going to be 1 or 2 key points based on the company, the job, their annual report or whatever. Critical incident technique. I'm a bit of a dinosaur. The modern STAR method is based on the old critical incident technique, where you're showing specific examples in the past as the best way of highlighting, if you like, future performance, okay? So you're going to hit it with 1 or 2 nice points about the job, the company. You're going to be very specific. You're going to mention a key achievement, right? Professional. Then we're going to mention personal, okay? Personal, family life, married, etc., etc. The reason that we're mentioning personal is we want to show them that we're stable and we're not a train wreck, right? Because people want to work with people who they know can be reliable, etc., etc. The third one is social. You want to bring a little bit of a social element in to show them that you've got hobbies and interests away from work. Now, once again, I'm not trying to be confrontational or controversial, but in the modern world, I'm seeing a lot of these career guides here telling people you're not allowed to mention anything about your life. You're not allowed to mention anything about what you do away from work. You're not allowed to mention anything about your family. Now, that's all horseshit, okay? Because I'll tell you why. Let's go back to what we discussed earlier in the discussion here. When you go for an interview, this is a meeting of equals. I want you to bring some of your personality to the table. I want you to show them what you do away from work. I want you to show them that you're social, etc., okay? Because You're interviewing them as well as they're interviewing you. Very key point, which I'll bring up in other coaching sessions. If you go and meet somebody and you're discussing an interview process or job opportunity with them, and you're not warming to them, or your gut's telling you this is a bad idea, trust me, it is a bad idea. So if you start talking, professional, personal, social, and they've got absolutely no interest in you as a person, and you're getting a couple of alarm bells, that suggests to me that it's not the right gig for you, okay? So we've done our prep, we've done our personal prep, we've done our professional prep. We're now ready to put together an answer for the question. So tell me about yourself. Let's go back and we'll use as an example the role that I mentioned to you in Singapore. The young gentleman was going for an account executive in financial services for a cloud software company. So the lady Aisha said to him, "So Dinesh, tell me about yourself." He said, "Well, first of all, I'm delighted to be here. I really thank you for giving me up your time because I know you're busy. So I noticed on the job spec that you're looking for an account executive with 5 to 7 years experience in cloud software, preferably someone who is selling into financial services. I'm delighted to say I've been working in the software space for 10 years. I currently look after 2 of the largest banks in Asia Pacific, and I've done 118% and 137% of my number in the last 2 years. Personally, I'm very happily married. I've been married for 13 years. Socially, away from work, I'm a big advocate. I'm very passionate about helping young people in their personal development, so I coach my daughter's football team." Let's just take a step back, okay? Wonderful answer. The lady warmed to. Remember I said to you, she said, I warmed to him straight away. He's addressed the company, he's addressed the job, he's given specifics, he's overachieved against his target. He's mentioned that he's got a stable family life. He's also mentioned that away from work, he actually is very passionate about helping young people, coaching teams. I'm a big team player, by the way. I got my job at Procter & Gamble because I was the captain of the University Football Club in Edinburgh. It is hard to believe that I was an athlete in a former life, but that is actually quite factual, okay? I was a good footballer, okay? Now, here's the point. When you look at how you go about these interviews, when you do that, you've mentioned that you're into team sports. If you bring that team sport component to the discussion and you're asking the person on the other end of the table about their hobbies and interests, you might find they're interested in team sports as well. Selling, business, technical roles, everything these days is a team sport. It's not a solitary pursuit. If I see somebody does golf, rock climbing, etc., I'm investigating. I don't mind you doing those solitary sports, but if you've got a team background as well. So that's just interesting. It's a little personal view of mine. I'm not saying it's right or wrong, but over 30 years, I've tended to follow my radar, trust my judgment. 99 times out of 10, 100, funny enough, I tend to be right. Okay, so we've answered the question. Well, we've given the lady a wonderful example. We're now ready to issue you with a challenge towards the conclusion of our discussion today. Okay, now, very importantly, do you remember I mentioned earlier that the gentleman didn't do that well in his interview? He'd been with the company for 20 years. Now, when you're with a company a long time, you don't do a lot of interview practice. This is something I'm going to cover in another video. You don't do a lot of networking, etc. But the good news is, him and I had a good chuckle about that discussion, about how he went about it, because he even said himself, I think I waffled a bit. I said, listen, you did, but we're here to help, right? He has now nailed that particular tell me about yourself in another interview. I think he's going to get a job offer for another senior role. And the point is, if we go somewhere, let's try and enjoy the discussion, right? Let's relax. Don't be getting all these career people getting you all stressed and how you have to get this job, you have to do this, you have to do that. Remember I said to you, you deserve to be there. This is a meeting of equals, okay? You're going to run this interview and you're going to do a good job for both them and you. So when you answer, tell me about yourself, well, that allows you then to take control of the interview. Lady might even say to you, oh, you're very busy, John. I noticed that you seem to do a bit away from work for the community. Oh, I love my life. I've got a great career, etc. And I couldn't be prouder, but I do take my career seriously. Now, you're busy, Aisha. Let me ask you this. Why is this job important to you, and what does success look like in the role? You're being clever. You're turning the interview around. You're going to start asking her questions. In some of my other interview coaching sessions we do, I'm going to show you the questions to ask, the frameworks, etc. but you're now turning it into a discussion, and it all becomes a discussion based on you starting off well with tell me about yourself. When you get the person at the other end of the table comfortable, they're thinking this guy's a contender, this lady's a contender, and they now want to have a proper business discussion with you. Now, note that I said they want to have a proper business discussion with you, not interview, okay? So in other videos that we do, I'll show you the whole framework we build out to make sure that we answer tell me about yourself well, which we'll do today, and then we're going to show you how to run an interview process where you take control of it, okay? Now, challenge in conclusion, okay? We're going to go for interviews. We're going to answer the question, tell me about yourself. Now, what I'd like you to think about today is go away and have a look. You might be going for 1 or 2 jobs at the minute, right? Use my little plan that I gave to you. Go and do your prep. Make sure your personal prep is always good. You'll do that anyway. Professional preparation. Remember the framework I mentioned, the company report, the job spec, any new news articles that the company have got out, any product developments, any new partnerships, any new case studies, etc. We want to get all that as part of our reconnaissance for when we go to see the people. Then, the person or people that we're being interviewed by. Remember I said to you that person or people are the most important people in your life. Their LinkedIn profile, their work history, do they know anybody you know? What have they got there that they've listed recently? What have they got there in terms of people they follow or groups, etc.? You're now building out your framework. You're putting your jigsaw in place and you're ready to rock and roll. Now, what I'd like you to do, go and practice that. Go and talk to a couple of your friends or your family, mum and dad, daughters, etc. Guys, I'm going for an interview. Do you mind if I do a bit of prep? And then I'll come and give you my 2-minute answer in front of you. And you're looking at professional, personal, social. Let's try and make it 2 minutes, make it clear. Practice it. Make sure the guys are objective. If they're not happy with it, they tell you they're not happy. Let's try and make it specific so that you can show them that you've done your homework, okay? If we do that, you're going to be very confident when you go and see the guys. Now, I promise you, I said to you earlier, unfortunately, funny enough, I get a bit excited because I am a bit of a dinosaur these days, but I still love helping people get jobs. I still love helping them with their interview prep. Sometimes these days interviews can be 5 or 6 as opposed to 1, but I still love the journey that we're all on together, okay? So I will forgive myself and I'll tell myself to calm down. And the point is this. I want you to go away and think about this. I want you to go and prep for it. And I promise you, by the time that you and I are finished working as a team, when you get to your next interview, you're going to be, as they say in horse racing, you're going to be chomping at the bit. You're going to be sitting in front of that person and you're going to be saying, you have to ask me, tell me about yourself, because I can't wait to answer it. So that's the preparation that you and I are going to do. I'm going to have you so well organized that you're going to nail that question, and then you're going to take control of the interview and you're going to close it out. This is Career Guidance with John Waters. I've really enjoyed talking to you today. I just want to thank you for watching our show, by the way. I know you're busy. And the most wonderful thing is that we'll see each other in a couple of days. Okay, thank you. Bye.